Today we're going to do a Fireglow burst on this quilted maple top. This top is kind of orange tinted slightly, so this red and yellow look really good on it. I'm using this Wizard Tint Bright Scarlet Red. I'm going to put a couple of coats on this quilted maple top. Top actually has some wormholes in it, so it's a second-ish type of top. You'll see that as I begin finishing it. There's some streaking in it here and there from the wormholes. I'm going to put this bright scarlet red on pretty thick. I'm going to do about 3 coats here on top, make sure it really soaks in everywhere. I'm going to go over the edges and the sides. Usually the end grain is where you have a lot of problems. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth here, making sure that it sits correctly. Next then, what I'm going to do after I get those first 3 coats, I'm going to take a rag and wipe off any of the excess that's sitting on the top. I don't want any splatting or blotches from this. So I'm going to take this clean rag and wipe it off. Then I'm going to take some 240 grit sandpaper and kind of sand off in that teardrop shape the inside here, and really kind of focus on the center and move this sander around, clean it up. And I'm going to go with 400, clean it up a little bit more. Next, what I wanted to show you guys here was some mineral spirits on the top with just the red before I add the yellow, and you can see what a neat color this is if you just use one color. So that's just the red. I'm going to take then this yellow, this trans tint yellow, and place this in the center. This is the lemon yellow that I've been using. I'm just going to apply this across the top, very thick in terms of yellow on this first coat. Make sure I get it all over the place. I'm going to go back and forth then with the red on the outside and make sure that I've got that darker outside and the yellow in the middle. So I'm going to be turning my rag, going back and forth between the 2 rags, the red rag and the yellow rag, and really get that coloring to fade in, and making sure that the red stays on the outside and the yellow stays in the middle. So I'm going to go back and forth with the 2 rags and really play with almost like a watercolor here to get the coloring to sit correctly. So I'm going to grab one more little bit of yellow here in the center and go back and forth. I'm going to get my clean rag and wipe up any of the excess that's sitting on the top. Now I'm going to take some 600 grit sandpaper and just sand off that coat of yellow, and this is where you get that top to really pop. I'm going to clean this off with just a rag, didn't film that, make sure I got all the wood out of the grain, and then dilute the yellow slightly and put that second coat of yellow on. And here you're really getting that really beautiful coloring in terms of the glow. You've got the red highlighting some of the spots, and then the yellow really popping it here. So a lot of back and forth, using the multiple colors and dilution to really get that color to pop. And I had a couple spots I wanted to go over with the red, but again, I've got a clean yellow rag and I'm going back and forth. So here's the coloring before I put any finish on it. It's got a really beautiful kind of glowing color. This one would also look pretty good in a brown. And then this is the guitar with 1 coat of sanding sealer on it. You can see some of the wormholes here and there, but overall this guitar looks great. I'll be putting a couple more coats on. We'll be putting this on eBay pretty soon. There it is, guys.